So you're thinking about relocating to Huntsville, Alabama. Well, in today's video, we're actually going to be hitting the brakes on that for a moment and looking at 7 reasons you should not move here to the Huntsville, Alabama area. So, as great as this city is, it is not for everyone. And there are some things about here that's some pretty big deal breakers. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't miss any of these 7. Starting off with number 1 on the list. Huntsville, Alabama, and this is really going to frame the whole rest of this video. It's going to help anchor this understanding if you know this one part. It is ranked 107th biggest city in the US, but by population. But when you look at the population density, it's extremely low. It's like 1,068 or so people per square mile. And Huntsville is massive at 225 square miles. So what that means is it's a huge city with a very small density. And there is not much to do as a consequence of that. In fact, it's one of the big complaints about Huntsville is that the city tends to shut down after about 9 o'clock. I'll say recently my brother and his wife were visiting from the North Carolina area. And we were wanting to go out to a bar and hang out there. And the bars here close super duper early. Whereas in contrast, over there in North Carolina, I know they would go bar hopping and they'd be out till 2, 3, 4 a.m. Over here, a lot of the bars are going to be closing 11, 12, 1 o'clock. It ends early, and those are even on like some Friday and Saturday nights. There's just not much of a nightlife scene at all here. So if you're expecting a big nightlife community, very vibrant, it's not it. Now for my wife and I, raising our 2 boys in the little suburb of Decatur here in this area, that's not a big deal for us. We don't really care to be out that late anyway, but if you're expecting that nightlife living from like a Nashville or anything like that, that could be a reason not to live here. Number 2 on this list, while Huntsville, Alabama's median household income is not, compared to its cost of living, is actually really good. When you look at the jobs that actually push that number up, there's very limited career growth and job opportunities outside the defense contracting and engineering firms here in the area. Government work, FBI, Space Command, defense contracting, Leidos, Blue Origin, NASA, all these different companies here, if you're outside that skill set, you're going to hit a career cap very early. I know that, and so your kind of next big industry here in the area is going to be in the manufacturing. So if your skill set's outside of those 2 fields, you're going to hit that career cap really early. And if you're still building, you may not want to set roots here and settle down. This may just be a fly-by state where you rent for a couple of years and then go on to a bigger city. There is not as massive of a tech industry here, or just really it's defense contracting. It's government federal spending and associated that's spurring on the growth here. Number 3 on the list is, and this takes locals by surprise as well as newcomers, Huntsville, Alabama is a purple city in a swath of a red state. And so right there, you're going to see that tension. It's between Republican and Democratic there in the city, leaning more purplish. And that's going to really come out in economic policy throughout the city. You're going to see that bleed into every single decision, as what you're going to see in very high liberal or progressive cities are going to hit lots of pushback here. For some of you, that's the reason you're coming. For those of you that are expecting this to be another Seattle or California, little mini city, this is not it. You're gonna be taken aback. Huntsville is growing a lot. It's a very car-dependent city, and the city doesn't have very much as far as it's very, very car-dependent. Limited public transportation options, limited bike lanes, limited EVs charging stations. We'll put up some B-roll footage. It's flat. It's sprawling. It's not high-density city center. Nothing like that. You are seeing there has been explosive growth in high-density living, but it is still far behind other major metropolitan areas. And it doesn't have the city infrastructure to really support that either. So you're seeing just a worsening traffic problem, and then especially going to the suburbs. That kind of leads us into number 4. Huntsville is growing, but it is just not built for the growth coming here to the area, and this is a pain point. The city is forecasting 100,000 new residents over the next 50 years, going from about 230,000 to 330,000. And then that's not even including all the surrounding bedroom communities of Huntsville. where as people get priced out, they're going to be driving further and further. All this worsening traffic problem, the city doesn't have, it doesn't have the infrastructure support right now. To get there is going to be decades of painful infrastructure projects, and there's just split visions right now. Like we talked about earlier in the with it being a purple saying, look, I don't care which way you vote, does not matter at all to me. But you're going to be seeing pushback when it comes to anything like high occupancy vehicle lanes. We don't have that here. Toll roads, anything to discourage lots of drivers on the road to help alleviate the traffic problem, anything to try and put alternative modes of transport is going to receive lots of pushback in the city. And so you're seeing this friction, these growing pains. The city just annexes more and more land to solve its problems rather than upgrading what it is. And so you can just expect a worsening traffic problem, and then as it progresses. So if you thought number 4 was bad, number 5 is absolutely crazy if you actually plan to buy a house here. Huntsville is in Alabama. And Alabama is a buyer beware state. I know for almost any of you moving from anywhere else, sellers need to disclose what they know is wrong with the property. Well, here in Alabama, it's on you to figure out. And that is why, don't do this alone. Our team can help you navigate that, whether it's new construction, whether it's resale. Give our team a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Let us know what's important to you, whether it's house, commute, lifestyle, whatever that is. We can help save you months of searching. If we can just book a call, find out what you're looking for, and set you on that right path. Don't do it alone. Our team can just help you navigate the complexities there. But being a buyer beware state, you really have to, more than ever, have to rely on third-party inspectors. Alabama also has a very high concentration of radon here in the area, which is something that's interesting. Remember how I said Huntsville is a sprawling city and low population density? Well, that means Huntsville also has limited access to specialized healthcare. The Huntsville hospital system is the main hospital system here in the Huntsville area, but if you've got really specialized medical needs, you may still need to be going down to Birmingham or up to Tennessee for that specialized care. The international airport is a small one, and oftentimes you're going to be needing connecting flights to other areas. So if you are needing to travel all the time, it's smaller airports. It's a nice airport. It's just a little one, but lots of connecting flights that you may have to be doing. Specialized healthcare can be a little bit more arduous to get to, and it's just a matter of it being a smaller city, biggest for the state, but smaller, 107th on the list compared to national rankings. All right, so I'm going to throw a little bonus in here right in between these real quick, because in researching for this video, I found something that absolutely surprised me. All right, so before we get to the number one reason you should not move to Huntsville, Alabama if you can't handle this fact, I wanted to go ahead and pull over here because in researching this video, I found something very interesting, and I think it balances the discussion a bit. When you look at, according to World Population Review, the largest U.S. cities by population in 2026 shows Huntsville as 107 on the list, and this is where you can see all that. But the surrounding on this list, city 108 and 106. 106 is going to be Boise City out of Idaho, and 108 is going to be, I don't know how to pronounce this, Hialeah out of Florida. Probably butchered that. But if you just compare right here, this is what draws so many people to Huntsville. So up on the screen here, this is the census report of this website. I will say on all the data I'm going to show you, they show right here that the margin of error is at least 10% of the total value. Take care of the statistic. But it's the best data I could find that was readily available that shows this. But when we look at median household income out of Huntsville, okay, it's 83,000. I've seen other reports around 75, so okay, but you look at that 100 to 200,000 range, 27%. Transportation to work, about 20 minutes, call it. But then housing affordability, 339, that is really close to where the median is for Huntsville. So that's really close to what we see. And then you compare it to like Hialeah, Florida. And I was shocked by this. 30 minutes to work, so their traffic is way worse than over in Huntsville. You look at median household income of $57,000, a lot lower. This puts into context. And then the home price, $446. I can't even, that's even higher than over here in Huntsville. Bachelor's degree or higher, 24%. You look at Huntsville. Huntsville is very well educated, 49.1% has a bachelor's degree or higher. And the affordability it's insane. The rent versus own, 58% own their home. That's about right what we see. The next city, just under in the list, is 57%. So it switches from owner occupied to renter occupied. You go over to Boise, and then the numbers change too. Like Boise, it's showing around 81,000 for the income. And then the medium value of home about 500,000. It's so much higher with the lower income. Bachelor's degree or higher, education is about the same according to this. Veteran status I thought was interesting. Huntsville is a very, very veteran, has a very high veteran population. You even see that here, 10.3% veteran status. We see that a lot. We see a lot of veterans museums, very patriotic. We get around, like 4th of July or Memorial Day, Labor Day, any of those kinds of holiday, Veterans Day, all of those, there's very much a strong appreciation for veteran culture here. Hialeah, you can see less than 1% according to this. And then when you go to the next up on this list, a little bit bigger, you have Richmond, Virginia, which is right where I grew up, near Alexandria, Virginia, and then Tacoma, Washington. I've got family over there as well. Look at Richmond, Virginia, and this just puts into context. Lower household income, 63,000. Median value of home is so much higher too, 377,000. So lower income, the housing just doesn't make sense again. Bachelor's degree, again, very comparable. Veteran status, very high. I mean, Virginia's, about 5.3%. And then Tacoma, Washington, you see 86,000. So similar in the income, a lot heavier skewed on the higher end, the 1 to 200 and over 200 compared to Huntsville. 30 minutes to work. What was Richmond? Richmond was 23 minutes. Still very driving heavy. But here in Tacoma, 500,000 again for the median house. 7.9% veteran status. So that kind of gives you a comparison where Huntsville ranks compared to some of these other cities. And then look at the area density, like 60 square miles, 86. The population, I mean, my goodness, a tenth of the density of Hialeah, Florida, almost a third of the density of Boise, Idaho. Like, this is a very, like, this really pops up on the list. You look at it, this is that low density, still a good income, price that makes sense. But I just felt that we need to kind of show it compared to other cities here. But the number one thing, the last one on this list, and probably the number one thing, if you can't handle this, just don't move to Huntsville. Don't move to the Alabama area, because this one is a doozy. This list, and the number one deal killer when it comes to moving to Huntsville, Alabama is in Tornado Alley. Yep, you heard that right. There are tornadoes here in the area, and that can scare so many people. That's probably the number one reason people choose not to move here to the area, is the fear of that. Now, okay, I would rather deal with tornadoes than wildfires, like you get in other parts of the country. At least with a tornado, while it's random, like a wildfire, and you can get insurance like a wildfire, there are some things that you can do to kind of protect yourself, whether it be a storm shelter within the home, a contingency plan where you go to a business or a place that's got a lot of concrete around it, that's going to be a safe building, weather radios that you can be aware of what's going on, and then like simple things to do as well, like cut down the trees around your house. Look, my parents, they had 4 massive trees next to their house, and I don't know if it's a tornado or not, but it was a lot of straight line winds that took one of their beautiful old pecan trees straight down. And if it went the opposite direction, it would have just completely taken out the entire section of their house, which was where they were during the storm. If it went towards them, they could have been very seriously hurt, but fortunately they were blessed. It went the other direction, but the concrete around their house was completely decimated, ripped up by those tree roots. My dad, a do-it-yourselfer, spent so much time cutting that massive tree up into little blocks, and it was many weekends to try and get that. They still have those other 3 trees up. It's beautiful, but it's something you need to be aware of. A lot of new construction communities, this is a win there, because they clear the trees. You don't have big trees next to your house, but it is something, maybe you don't want a massive tree branch right over your house, the roof of your house, in Tornado Alley. It's pros and cons. The shade is great. It can help reduce cooling costs. It's beautiful, the aesthetic. The downsides, if you get a tornado pop-up or straight line winds that can take those older trees down, can be a nightmare. So not the biggest fan of massive trees next to the house, but if you've got this far in this video, that tells me you're pretty serious about moving to Huntsville, Alabama area. We made a pros and cons video that I think you're absolutely gonna love. Click it here and I'll catch you over on that one.